Hey everyone, and welcome to the next edition of the Snapchat. We're here today with Cozy Snap. Boom, hit you with a new intro. I bet you guys were not expecting that. Do you know how much effort it takes to come in with a slightly different intro? Like, I know on your side, you do like the actual proper intro, and I'm kind of jealous because like that is so damn hard. I come in with the same damn thing every single time. Like, you guys know what it is. I've done it hundreds of times at this point. Just switching up just the phrasing ever so slightly actually engages my head so much more just to get me fired up. Cozy, how are you today?
First of all, I might do some flashy stuff behind me, but I say what's going on and welcome back on all of my videos pretty much. And I end every single video with have a good one, have a great one. Also, I had to literally change the audio of one of my rival videos the other day because I said happy snapping at the end. I was like, well, damn, got to change that up. It's hard because even changing happy rivaling to happy snap, I can't do it, man. I've been doing it too long. Doing well, though. I'm doing well. I was doing better before I purchased Bruce Banner.
Yo, imagine being the asshat that almost gave this card 4 stars. This was one of those moments last week where like, I'm not going to say I like really huffed a ton of hopium about this card. I think it was because I really wanted High Evo to see something. And when I was playing High Evo with Luna Snow, I saw this glimmer of hope. I was like, man, wait, Luna Snow's actually pretty good here. I think there's a chance this deck could be legit. Can Bruce Banner send it to the moon? Because you know I love Evo. I've been waiting for the Evo decks to make a comeback. And maybe that like, those rose colored shades, is that the term where like, you know, you can't see the fault because you're too dialed in on the, that was me. I am so happy, Cozy, so happy, even though I'm still too high at 3 stars. I'm so happy that at the end of that discussion, I was like, you know what, Cozy, I'm bringing it down to 3 stars. Do you know how upset I would have been at myself if I stayed at 4 stars? I'm so glad I talked myself down a little bit with your help, of course, because Bruce Banner is more like Bruce Poo Poo. Man, this card sucks. Like, I'm sorry, it sucks. And not that like it doesn't have a ceiling. It has a ceiling, but the floor is so low and it's so frustrating. Man, this card does not belong in any deck anywhere. Just keep it away from me.
Yeah, dude, from when it got data mined, I was like, oh my god, this might be one of the greatest cards in the set, to like the reality gut of last week. I was like, I don't know. I've been all over the board with where this could have been, and it's because of what this card is. It's all over the board, right? It's a 25% chance for a huge payoff and or not. And again, I'm sure there are people out there like, what are you guys talking about? My Bruce Banner has been popping, hulking out every turn. Dude, frustrating experience playing this card. Because every time, like, dude, I don't know about you, I was playing, it's like, there were times where like I didn't need him to do it. I was fine, and he was like, I'm hulking out, right? I'm like, okay, great. And then the other times I'm like, come on. And just, it was 4 no's in a row, 3 no's in a row. He upset me.
It was so funny because like I got a message from someone like, hey Alex, you're on the front page of Marvel Snap Reddit. And I was like, oh god, what do I do now? And I was like all nervous. I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta go look now, right? I try not to take. I go there and it's me with 4 Bruce Banners on the board. If it rolls pretty good, I got a chance to get a good dub there. All 4 don't roll. And I had been rolling multiple turns, and someone did the math on the video of like how bad my luck was. I did like 11 rolls on Bruce Banner on like when you account for the fact there's 4 on the board for multiple turns, and I did not hit a single one. Can you believe that? There's almost like it was like a 2.89% chance of that happening or whatever. Like 98% chance that at least one of them pops, and I could have like potentially won the game. No, they're like, know what, Alex? Screw you, bud. Here's an L for you.
Stats are great. Stats are fun because for everyone where like, you know, if you have 20 things face down and they tell you to find the Hulk card, one guy's going to walk up and find the Hulk on the first pull. Another guy's going to go all 19, right? Like, it's just how it works, man, how stats work. And yeah, unfortunately, I mean, dude, you've always hated statistic cards kind of like this, you know, stats cards, RNG cards, never been your thing. You just talked about hitting Nocturne and she wasn't all too much RNG, I guess the location. This is the ultimate RNG card, and clearly, man, it came to haunt you.
Dude, it's funny you say that because like even in the last conversation we had on your channel, like, it was like you mentioned Nocturne and the card was amazing. It got nerfed. It was literally one of the best cards in the game. You couldn't find me playing it. I just wanted nothing to do with it. I just didn't like that stuff, right? But like with Bruce Banner, it was like I had this hope because it's like I love Evo. I love that style of deck. I know there was that point in time where Evo was too good, and it's funny to think that even Evo at its like real height, the 2 cards that got nerfed in Evo, do you remember?
Wasp and Hulk. Yeah.
Wasp and the Thing, right?
That's what I think did, yep.
And it's, yeah, isn't that kind of crazy? And those are the 2 cards that don't really make the decks anymore. And meanwhile, I'm looking at Bruce Banner. I'm like, man, this card has to make it, has to do something. The card's running a 48% win rate. Awful. Awful, awful. And it's not just Red Guardian pumping it. That happened too. But what was funny is I was going through replays of me playing Bruce Banner, and every single time it got pumped by the Red Guardian, I won those games because I didn't play around its bull. I almost said a bad word. I didn't play around its nonsense. And I just like played my Hulk on 6 or whatever and won the game. You know what I mean? Like I just removed Banner from the conversation and I just performed better. You know what I mean? It was just wild how ineffective this card was. And the top comment on the video was, can't wait for this card to get buffed and everyone regrets missing out on it. Because that's the one thing about what Second Edition's been doing. They've been very responsive with like, not necessarily the nerfs, but the buffs have come fast. Like Hercules got buffed, like a week later. Hydration Robber got buffed 6 days, 6 days after release and 2 hours before the season rollover or the week rollover, whatever. So they're obviously not, hopefully they don't do that with Bruce Banner. But yeah, this card was ultimately disappointing. Don't roll this card. Don't use your resources on this card. This is an absolute pass. High Evo is not even. It's a shell of its former self. I see no reason to own this card other than either A, you hate your resources, B, you have lots of resources, or C, you rolled it by accident because you're going after something else.
Or you're the luckiest man in the world. I mean, couple things. First, they're not going to buff this card. There's nothing they can do to buff it. They can make it a 1 cost. Other than that, they're not going to buff it. They're not going to give it more power because I just don't see that happening. But I will say, the only thing I can see this card getting better in the future is right now there's just no shells, not a lot of them, that want you to skip energy because obviously that's such a huge resource to skip. If we get more cards down the line that are like great cards where you skip, you know, like Wiccan changed the game for using energy. If we get cards like if you skip XYZ happens, then it'll work. Then it'll work, you know, because it's going to have a place to belong more. Right now, it's like we try to make it work in Evo because that's kind of the thing that you can do that with. Not exactly the case. Dude, yeah, just not good. Not good. Too many good cards around it, man. We even said last week, go for Doom, don't go for Bruce. And this week, it's go for Rocket, don't go for Bruce.
Absolutely. There's no question about it. I mean, that pretty much sums up the conversation. Don't get Bruce. He's a poo-poo card. Save your resources for the weeks that are coming. And that's going to take us to the best cards of 2024, in which Bruce Banner is not one of them, Cozy. We're not going to be talking about Bruce Banner at all. He's not on this list. Now, what I thought was interesting, and we're going to kind of go, you know, we're not going to dedicate too much time to each individual card because there's a lot of cards here. We're going to talk about the bangers of the year. Cozy, I'm going to throw out some cards here and give me a couple thoughts on them. We're going to go in chronological order for the most part. Whenever there's like a season pass and a new card in the week, whatever, I just do whatever one. Starting in January, here's a card that came out a little soft, Scar. Scar came out a little soft. I think we recognized the potential power that Scar had, but it wasn't necessarily a banger. And then it's so funny, as the meta shifted over and over again, suddenly Scar became a key component into a lot of meta decks, and essentially culminating in the release of Surtur later on. But Cozy, what are your thoughts on Scar?
He's exactly what we thought he would be. I think in January, I think I gave it like a 4, and it's like because of where he's going to go and what he'll be in the future. And that's what he was. That's what he did become. I think back then there wasn't a lot of decks there's only a couple that you could make work with him. And that whole season was just like not a strong, like this January is awesome for what's coming out. That January, like, man, I love doing this to my memory, but it was like what? Scar, Kyera, Hercules, and who's the other one?
Oh man, I'm not good at
Meek.
that. I think you're right though.
Meek. Yeah, man, I don't know why I know this stuff, but
it was Meek. Yes.
I played
Meek
Rivals all day, every day,
yeah.
and I still remember that. It's crazy. What a weak season, bro. Like, what a weak season. And that leads into the Thanos season. But yeah, Scar, I like him. He's good. He definitely he makes the list as one of the better cards in 2024.
Yeah, ironically, at the time I was looking back, he was very popular in like Thanos shells that were kind of going on there. And it actually brings us to the second set of cards. And I'm doing set because they're all kind of similar power. And you just alluded to it. I can't believe you remember this stuff. It was the Thanos season, the Black Order of Cull Obsidian, Corvus Glaive, and Proxima Midnight. I almost said Proxima Centauri, by the way. Shout out to everyone who knows what that is. It's the closest star to the sun. February. Okay, Cull Obsidian, Corvus Glaive, Proxima. All of them impactful, but not necessarily meta-shattering. What are your thoughts on those three?
I'll never forget Black Swan. How many people thought Black Swan was going to be the card? 3-5.
Crazy.
Disappointment. That was the first time where people realized, like, it doesn't matter if it's good stats. It can be a bad card. So, there, you know, listen, February, Black Swan, disaster, right? But we did skip over Grandmaster. And my two favorite cards this year were War Machine and Grandmaster, because it's the ones that I whiffed on the most in predicting them, and then they ended up both becoming meta giants at one point in time in the year. And so to me, I just loved how that kind of formed. But looking at January, how bad of a month that was, I think February was probably worse, right?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if February's worse because, like, listen, I loved Grandmaster too. I played a lot of Grandmaster, but like, okay, February with Cull Obsidian, Corvus Glaive, and Proxima Midnight, those cards all have a place. You make a discard deck, Proxima's in it. Corvus, not necessarily. Corvus had like that round of like, oh, you're playing the Sandman. Remember the Sandman deck with Corvus Glaive? That was a thing for a while. Cull Obsidian still makes a number of different decks. It doesn't make Zoo anymore, which is kind of interesting. But if Thanos ever makes a comeback, Cull Obsidian's going to be in that deck.
Yeah, that's fair, actually. Corvus and Proxima kind of keep that month definitely going high, because Supergiant was rough. Card tried to make it all year, just didn't do much of anything. I just remember like thinking how cool it was that the Black Order was coming to Marvel Snap, and then it was just like, they kind of delivered just a little bit. Are we hitting every month? Are we going through every card?
Well, no, not every single card, but we can kind of batch them a little bit here. But because in March, we had the most disrespected card in Marvel Snap's history. It's Hope Summers. Hope Summers came out in March, Cozy. What an absolute fire card. And I feel like it's a great card. Honestly, it hasn't aged as well, despite the fact I seem to play it a lot, but it doesn't make a lot of meta shells right now.
Yeah, Hope Summers, though, is still a winner of 2024. Even if it's not played now, what a dramatic effect it had on the meta, how long it was played for, how good it is. And playable still. And it probably launched as one of the best season cards to come out at the time of its release.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And I still love the card. I play the card. I've been playing a lot in a Galacta Athena deck, which I absolutely love. And something worth mentioning is March actually had a few bangers. One of which we both called. I think we both gave it 5 stars. And another one, which was a surprising meta shaker. Mockingbird came out in March, as did Cannonball. Now, obviously, Mockingbird, we all saw it. There was no way Mockingbird was going to land on its face. That card was unbelievable. But Cannonball was a surprise. It was a surprise to me. It was a surprise to many. Some people like to sail there, be like, I thought Cannonball was going to be great the entire time. And you might have been right. Well, you would have been in the minority, sir. You're a gentleman and a scholar. But Cannonball certainly took people by surprise when it invaded the meta.
Yeah, I mean, every year we have like these combos that come out that just are so cracked that no one expected. And this was the year of the Cannonball and Professor X, man. When that came out, I remember like, oh my God, it took over, and it was a force to be reckoned with. Talk about a guy getting hit with the Swift Hammer, though, because this definitely, with X going down, this really hurt this card. But at the time, again, it's like I can't just look at the now, got a recency bias, got to look at the whole year in review, and it was a damn good card this year.
It was, and obviously when Professor X changed, it really impacted the card negatively. However, when Doom 2099 came out, Cannonball flourished because he was pumping all the Doom bots, right? Yep. And so like it was a release valve for that Zoo style deck, so it was pretty awesome to see. And Mockingbird, absolutely just amazing. Even after multiple nerfs, it's still just amazing. Cozy, is that crazy?
Mockingbird might be the card of the year, like outside of like maybe Airsham, which we'll get to. But I think Mockingbird, if you look across the months, across the decks, across how good it was, what they had to do to nerf it, Mockingbird was in like every deck for 7 months.
Yeah, so for the sake of time, we're going to batch the cards together by month here. Now we're in April. Cozy, that was actually a crazy month too. We had Red Hulk, Red Guardian, and White Widow come out. 2 of the 3 cards in Red Hulk and White Widow got nerfed. Red Guardian continues to be a really popular choice to ruin, release day shenanigans. Cozy, what are your thoughts on those 3 bangers?
Is that one of the strongest months of the year, you would think? I mean, I can't wait to go through all of them, but this might be it. I mean, think about it. All those cards are good. They were all good for a long time as well. Red Hulk dominated everything, was nerfed instantly. White Widow was stupid good for months.
July might be more cracked, but this is probably a close second.
Yeah, I think it's July too. Yeah, this is up there. Red Guardian, strong card as well. Overall, good month.
It definitely is. And for me, it really stands out because Red Guardian has been like this very steady baseline of power. Obviously, White Widow was the best 2-drop in the game without question, ended up getting nerfed. But that brings us into May. Now, May had a couple of really nice cards, namely Nocturne and Sage. Now, Nocturne, I think people were like a little ho-hum on at the launch, and then they start to really notice its power potential. In Sage, I remember reviewing Sage and being like, this card is awesome. Like, it's amazing. And people were like, nah, I don't buy it. I was like, bro. I was like, come on, this card is sick. This was a card I remember when we reviewed, I was a little lower on.
We were lower for sure.
I woke up. Dude, when I played it, I was like, wow, this card is good. Like, how is this card not one of the best cards at the 3 slot right now? People just didn't buy it, and that it aged beautifully this year. This is an absolute banger.
Yeah, and also we skipped US Agent, I think, was in the last month with Red Hulk, wasn't he? Was he in that month too? I think he was in that month.
I think he was, yeah, because he was with the month with White Widow, but he needed a pretty significant buff to get there.
A couple weeks later it happened, though, and that's where it's like, it reminded me because people didn't get this card and they regretted it, and I remember now why that month was so good. One of my favorite cards, but Sage, I think even if we were on the edge of liking it, like when we said Surtur was a 5, we still missed. I think this was Sage. We liked her, but like we couldn't predict how good she was gonna be. She was really strong, and even the experts, like I remember a lot of people are like, you're not gonna be able to use her. She's awkward. What are you gonna play her on turn 6? Like, hell yeah, you are, and you're probably gonna win. Really good card.
Yeah, hell yeah. Turn 6 sounds perfect for Sage.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Thank you. I'll have that. Yeah, and maybe that was in the era of Red Hulk on 6, right? So like, times change, meta ebbs and flows, but yeah, Sage was definitely disrespected.
Oh, 100% disrespected. The second most disrespected card in Marvel Snap this year. What was also disrespected quite a bit in June was Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh required a buff, was famously known as Gilgamid, was released alongside Thena, who honestly, again, surprised. I think Thena surprised. People were like, oh, is it gonna... No, Thena was remarkable, needed a nerf. Gilgamesh needed a buff. But now these are 2 staple cards in a number of different archetypes. Gilgamesh single-handedly brought Zoo back from the dead. Like, even to this day, people aren't playing Zoo because it's kind of fallen out of the mindset. If you want to crush, play Zoo. Like, honestly, it's free MMR. It's free real estate. Zoo is still extremely good, and Gilgamesh is a major part of it.
It was not Gilgamid, it was Gilgamesh. It was a Gilgamesh, Alex. That was the moniker. But I will say this card was kind of doo-doo until they did fix him up. Then they made him really good at that point. Probably one of the, I think actually, for like a 6-month period, we had this expectation of season pass cards, and then this came out, and we're like, what the hell? And then the OTA happened, right? And we found out Athena also in contention for one of the best cards this year. No question about that. And a fun month, man. You had Cersei in there, Makari. It was definitely like a fun month, even if people didn't like the Eternals.
Of that month, I will tell you, I've warmed up to Makari.
Yeah.
I actually have, in my own little way. Still not great, in my opinion, but kind of surprising how much I like it. Now, Cozy, I hinted before that there's a month that I think stands out as the best month of Marvel Snap for 2024. July. Cozy, you want to hear this absolute disgusting set of cards? Erisham, Ajax, Copycat. Remember OG Copycat? Cassandra Nova, which was released for free. And you had Gwenpool too, which honestly, isn't that kind of crazy to think that Gwenpool's the least exciting of the bunch, in my opinion? It's just, what an absolute month to be a Marvel Snap player.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Airship changed the dynamic of the game completely. Then you just had like strong cards that happened. This was a little bit of the start of the whole, like, we're going to release a card at the beginning of the month, and then at the end of the month, there's a card to counter that card, and it was Cassandra. And I think Deadpool's Diner, even though it was kind of a disaster, it was still fun because it was the first limited time game mode that we had, and Deadpool 3 was out, a lot of hype around that. So that was fun. Yeah, that whole month was insane. Like, if you like skipped that month, that's a tough one to skip, man. That's a tough one to skip. And yeah, funny enough, like, Gwenpool is a great card, but it is definitely was just awful comparably to some of the other stuff that we looked at.
One of the most commented comments on the Snapchat was when we made notice that Gwenpool has a cat on her shoulder. Remember that epiphany for like so many people, that people did not realize that she's actually holding a feline on her shoulders. Thought it was her hair. Awesome. I love that. One of my favorite moments of the Snapchat in a while. But like, yeah, OG Copycat. Absolutely love that card. Still pains me. The card's still good, but I still don't play it like I used to. Ajax was probably the sleeper hit there, which has been a very consistent banger. And obviously Cassandra Nova did require a nerf despite having a very important impact on the meta. Now, August actually had some bangers as well in the form of Marvel Boy, Kate Bishop as a season pass card, and I'm going to say Wiccan and Speed too. Now, Speed, I think, is a little on the lower end, despite the fact that it has consistently been an amazing card. But Wiccan, it's a legit card. People are playing Wiccan in a number of different decks. Marvel Boy definitely elevated Zoo. It needed a nerf. Kate Bishop has been an excellent card. Again, so July and August was pretty much all bangers.
Really well-rounded month. There was just a lot happening with it. Marvel Boy obviously did so much for Zoo. Kate Bishop is what I think Rocket and Groot will be, and just the way of being played in so many decks. It can be used in a lot of ways. Yeah, I liked it this month. It was. We needed something not too crazy after what was July, because there was just so much happening in July, but still very strong.
Absolutely. And, you know, I like the fact that month also, it hit a number of different archetypes. It was a very well-rounded month, as you mentioned. It wasn't just fixated, like we had the Black Order season. We have the next season we're going to talk about, which was very move-centric as well. But ultimately, this month, it feels like everyone got a little bit of something, which I think helped each individual deck. We also had some archetype definers like Wiccan. And in September, now this was a very contentious month. This was the month where we had Silver Sable, which was universally slept on. And we also had Madam Web, which was universally pumped. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And in her defense, Madam Web still makes, in little movers and the Frigga movers and stuff, Madam Web makes those decks. And I still stand beside. I think that the Madam Web ongoing lists, which I do play from time to time in my own, on my lonesome, because I know nobody wants to watch that on YouTube, are actually pretty good. I like them a lot. And so I do think that Madam Web, despite not hitting the ceiling that was expected, found her place, which is nice. And Silver Sable needed a nerf because it was literally the de facto one drop for Marvel Snap.
I mean, Sable came in with the whole, Cassandra did, but the stealing thing was just, it's so much. Like the stealing and what that did. I feel like Jeff screwed us up, right? We got Jeff. We realized how good move cards are. Then we got Nocturne. And so then we're like, we're high up, everybody from content creators to players on the move cards. And then, oh my God, Madam Web's the answer to move. It's going to be, you know, historic. Dagger got her OTA in, I think, like February. Things were just kicking off, going crazy. Couldn't wait. And just talk about the definition of what Marvel Snap is about. You got to play it to see it. And it just did not land. Definitely up there on one of my misses this year for sure, no question too. Sable, great card. What came after that? What were some of the other ones that came with that month?
Oh man, that was what was it? Oh no, I'm forgetting now. It was a move-centric month, wasn't it? I don't know. I just wrote down the absolute bangers.
Oh,
Silver Sable and Madam Web were the ones.
Aranya was
really
also like, oh, this is gonna be really good too.
Oh,
you know what it
Aranya
was
too,
though too is we didn't know about Activate all that much, right? Like we were still trying to figure out Activate. Heck, wait, it was that Symbiote Spider-Man. That was like the month of wasn't Symbiote Spider? Yeah, I think that was the month of Activate.
But Symbiote Spider-Man definitely underperformed.
For
That's
sure,
why I'm
but
not
like,
talking about him
yeah,
being the best in
I guess I'm
2024.
just trying to think of like Activate coming out was such a big thing because on paper it's like, oh my God, the agency, the guessing games, and it's a trash. It's just not near as good as On Reveal or Ongoing, and so that I think was one of the biggest shocks of this year.
And that was one of the episodes I think we were on the road, right? And we just had to fill in. Like it was like that was one of those weeks too where like there was a lot going on and we didn't have any information about Activate prior to the episode.
No,
and stuff.
they didn't release the video, bro. They like it straight up. We knew nothing about it, and we just had to like film because they were like, whatever. Once again, Second Dinner was not doing whatever they were doing, and that it came out on like. And
we asked too, by the way, for the record. We were like, hey, we need some data, and they're just like,
they got that cool. Let's throw that in the trash. Yeah, That was definitely a crazy month of expectations. Like Scarlet Spider-Man, we were like, that was our spicy apple juice episode. And we were like, oh my God, this card's gonna be game changing, and it sucked too because it Activate and what it brings.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I actually still have some hope for Scarlet Spider, but you know what I had definite hope for? In October, the scary season. There are a couple cards that really stand out. In fact, there are 4 cards that stand out, Cozy. They were all bangers. Scream, Agent Venom, Scorn, and Toxin. Now, what I love about this, Scream created a whole new archetype. It's my favorite card of the month. Agent Venom, one of the best cards in the game to this day, despite having a nerf. Scorn, perfect in my Pew Pew Gambit decks, and also legit in discard. Toxin made bounce so much more playable and so much more accessible, and still not meta-shattering. This was a great month of releases.
This July and May, I think they're the finalists.
I think that this month is better than July, not from a power standpoint, from a balance standpoint.
Yeah.
I think that they nailed this month because Toxin didn't break the game, Scream didn't break the game, Scorn didn't break the game. Who's the fourth? There's a card missing that didn't do that well. Yeah, Agent Venom broke it pretty hard, actually. Agent Venom was a bit rough, and that was the month that they boosted. They're like, we're going to buff, what was the card? Oh my gosh. Shadow King. They buffed Shadow King just to encourage people to play it, despite the fact it's already one of the most played cards in the game. They're like, if you don't like Age of Venom, play Shadow King, guys. Stop complaining, damn it. We want to sell some season passes. Play the damn card. So they buffed it. Oh my gosh, that was some 5-head gameplay from Second Dinner. But to say that we were smart, no, we weren't smart enough because we didn't even play. Shadow King was at like a 30% play rate. It should have been 100% play rate.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, I wish we had a list of all the OTAs because there was plenty to think about there.
Cozy asking for a 6-hour podcast right here. Next week, Cozy, we'll go through line by line every OTA in 2024. And that takes us to November. Now, November, December are fast ones because I only have one card in each because, first of all, they're kind of recent. We don't want to do too much recency bias. But November, that's the month of Surtur. Let's be honest. We both came in at 5 stars and somehow we joke we were too low. This card slapped. Some significant nerfs to it, not just Surtur itself, but to some of the supporting cast for Surtur, including Scar, got nerfed from January. And but ultimately, I think it's still excellent. It's probably being slept on, honestly. It's not being played nearly enough.
Yep, one that's just going to age with the game, too. I always like cards like that. We kind of saw this in advance. We knew this thing was going to be as crazy as it was. Like, December was the first month we couldn't, data mine in or whatever. But we did see him, I think, a while back. And he was one of those for a long time. We're like, yeah, this card's crazy. And we still missed it because he got nerfed hard, bro.
Yeah, he got nerfed pretty hard. And so far in December, what has dodged the nerf is Galacta. Now, I think it's fair to say that the other cards are still in flux. We're still learning about them. But I think Galacta, it's fair to say this is an absolute beauty.
Yep, definitely. I mean, card in review next week, we'll talk about him. But I think Galacta is, I don't know if it'll be, top 5. But it's definitely a very strong card this year. Like, it's a tough way to place this one. I mean, we just talked about all of them, Alex. To recap it, I mean, what do you think wins card of the year? Arishem?
Ooh, see, here's the thing. Like, for me or for everyone, like, in terms of impact, like, what was the strongest card of this year?
All of it combined. Yep. I think it's got to be Arishem.
It has to be Arishem in terms of meta impact for sure. I think Arishem had like a 70% play rate when it came out, like absolutely wild. So yeah, we agree on Arishem, but what is your card of the year?
That's a tough one, man, because I'd have to go through.
I have one. Do you want me to buy you some time here?
Yeah, I think I know mine, but go ahead.
Okay, no, if you know yours.
I think mine's Copycat, but I'm thinking on it. Go ahead.
Okay, so Copycat is a preliminary for Cozy. For me, it has to be Scream. Like, yeah, I just love the fact that Scream brought out a whole new archetype that was fun to play. I'm hoping that there's some opportunities for some more cards to come out that'll benefit Scream, which I'm sure there will be, and there are. But ultimately, Scream for me was a huge win. I absolutely loved it. And a secondary call-out has to go to Thena for me. I love Thena. I like how it brought back Kitty Pryde as well. But for me, it's definitely going to be Scream and Thena in that order.
I think it's Cersei and Pixie for me. I think those are fun factor cards that are just cool.
Whoa. Okay, hold on. You just said Cersei and Pixie. Are you sure, sir? Wait, how much? What's in your bottle?
Pixie has come. Pixie came out this year, right? Or no? When did Pixie?
No, it did 100%. I just think that you might be buzzing here. Are you sure?
For my cards that I liked, yeah, man, those are the fun factor cards for me. I thought those were both so fun. Like, those gave me new ways to play the game. And that's what I enjoyed that in a great way. Scream's a good one. Could have gone with that one. Like Thena, I'm not like, oh man, I get to play 2 cards at once. Yeah, this is great. Nah, like for me, it's like, man, I want chaos. I want more of not the same. And I felt like those two really brought, not to knock your pick. I know you love Kitty Pryde, but to me, like that's where I came from with that call out, I guess. I thought you were going to say
Cassandra at you Nova. Roasting you a bit for your picks. It's only fair you roast me back a little bit. It's okay, Cozy. If I dish it, I got to be able to deal it or whatever.
I thought you were going to say Nova, dude. You loved your Cassandra Nova.
I did love Cassandra Nova, but for like honestly, Scream just did so much. There's a lot of great cards this year, and obviously Hope Summers.
Bruce Banner.
Bruce Banner. Gotta love Bruce Banner. Oh, I was just threw up on camera, Cozy. What are you doing, bud? What we got to do, Cozy, we got to get to the Snapchat mailbags. We got a lot of questions, man. It was hard filtering through all the questions. Hey, if you guys want a bit of advice, if you're thinking about launching your own podcast, you guys want to know some inside baseball, if you want to engage the comment section, do a Christmas tier list of songs. If you want people to comment, oh my gosh, Cozy, people had takes. But you know what? This one really just made me laugh. I laughed out loud, like chuckled out loud. As Kovacs said, quote, "All I want for Christmas is you," goes into F with almost no discussion. Unreal. And then followed up with Casey, who said, easily the worst take in this entire show's run. They didn't even know it was Mariah Carey.
Wait, I thought I said Mariah.
We said it was Kelly Clarkson, dude.
No, you said Kelly Clarkson. I
man.
swear I said Mariah Carey. I was like, this is Mariah Carey's thing. And then I thought you said the American Idol winner was Kelly Clarkson. There's no way we said Kelly Clarkson. We together said that?
Dude,
I refuse.
I'm almost 100% positive
No way.
we thought that Kelly Clarkson sang that song.
I think you brought up American Idol, and I was like, no.
Oh, I definitely messed it up.
No,
Don't get me
no.
wrong. I derailed you.
Oh, dude, there's no way I'd forget Miss Christmas, dude. Like the girl that shows up in like October, like it's coming. You've seen those memes?
No.
Anyway, I'd still put it in F tier, even if it's Mariah Carey.
That's the spirit, Cozy. That's what we had to get to. Still F tier. Get wrecked.
Get right.
There's the discussion you guys were looking for. Still F tier. Oh my gosh. And the next question comes in from Michael Nicholson. And this brought a tear to my eye, Cozy. The glory days of LAN parties. Back when we were broke college kids in New York City living in a 30-story dorm. We went to extreme lengths to make the magic happen. Picture this. Original Xboxes. The longest Ethernet cords that we could find or make. And literally us hanging out of the windows like tech-savvy Spider-Men to connect our consoles. The payoff, a night of Halo, drinking, and absolute chaos. The highlight was always someone getting sniped, only to hear an echoing scream from 3 floors up. Truly peak gaming moments. I miss those days. Nothing brought people together like risking life and limb for a LAN party.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What a great paragraph, man. Props to you. I like that.
Yeah, that honestly, when I read it, I was like, we have to shout this out. Like, it's just beautiful. And I remember like that LAN party that I've brought up like so many times on the Snapchat.
Here we go.
It ended in a fight. I don't know if I mentioned this. It ended in a fight because we were playing Warcraft 3 Reign of Chaos and we were doing like a tournament. And my buddy tower rushed my brother, and my brother had something to say about it. If you want to ruin the LAN party, just tower rush someone else in a RTS. And the next question, Cozy, comes from Noel, and it reads, and this comes up every once in a while, but it's nice to kind of revisit it because it gives me a chance to bring up my favorite group. Hi, what Marvel character that has not been done would you like to see in Marvel Snap? And that's from Noel. And
yeah, Alpha
listen,
Force.
Cozy, it gives me a chance.
I think I want Alpha Force. That's who I want. Who do you want? You can't pick the same.
You want Alpha Force,
No.
Cozy? How dare you
Force.
take my pick?
No,
I know what
I
you
didn't know
did
you were going to pick. I pick Alpha Force. They're my favorite. Who would you pick?
No, you
And
can't
Puck?
do that to
Yeah,
me. What am I
yeah.
supposed to say now?
Yeah. I knew you.
You know what's funny?
Chomping at the bit. To
Alpha
go first.
Force. No, I know, man. I just want to talk about Alpha Force. But you know what's funny about it, man? Is that like I had a chance to play Alpha Force in Marvel Contest of Champions, and I was like, oh, the guy has the Canadian suit and everything. I was like, yes. And I actually was like pumping. Oh, it was so good. I was just so excited to see some Canadian representation. And actually, I'm not even sure about this, Cozy. I know you're a bit of a lore expert. Wolverine is Canadian, no?
Yep.
He's from Alberta, right?
Yep.
So why isn't he in Alpha Force? Or was he in Alpha Force at some point?
Dude, I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know.
That's like a deep cut.
Yeah,
You don't know the Canadian
I'm on no sleep
lore?
over here, bro. I don't know. But I pick Alpha Force. I pick Alpha Force as mine. Alex stole mine. I want that for the record. Other than that group, it's a good Snapchat topic. I actually had that lined up probably for the next couple weeks of cards that we want to see that haven't come, because they've hit a lot of them. I'll put some thought to it. I'll get back to that next Snapchat.
Yeah, maybe we should do like a proper topic on your side at some point, because like I'm hitting you like off the cuff. You weren't prepared for this. No. But one thing I've learned is that there are so many characters, right? So many characters, right? That can, like Happy could be a character in Marvel Snap, right? Like if you think about it, Aunt May could be a character. We have Aunt May's like obviously the location, but we have so many tertiary and secondary characters. We have some main characters that aren't even in the game yet. But one thing that brings to mind is that like, how about great characters that aren't great in Snap? Like playing Adam Warlock in Rivals brings a tear to my eye. You know what I mean? It's like, what do we got to do to make these characters relevant in Marvel Snap? Now it takes us to our next question from Santa. That's right. Her name is Santa. Glad to hear that they are finally looking to address the economy issues. I love Snap for close to a year. One of the most fun card games, but the economic system was so bad I quit last summer. Hopefully these changes they're mentioning are in development, make it feel like it's worth coming back to. Yeah,
I mean, definitely the hope. I more of a statement than anything conversational for me. But yeah, that's cute. Like I said, 2025, big year for them, and hoping that Q1 starts out with a bang.
Yeah, and the final statement we're going to close the episode off with today comes from Haxer, and this is something I actually kind of forgot about because, like you, Cozy, I don't open a lot of the caches, but they said they need to remove these gold tickets from caches.
Yeah.
And I would like to actually kind of reiterate that we forgot about that. They really need to do something about those damn gold tickets. If you're going to make Conquest completely irrelevant by removing the gold and everything and removing the rewards, take those gold tickets out, please, because I don't want them, and I don't think you do either.
Tickets. I remember when Conquest came out, they were doing like bundles, and they were like, "This one's got 3 gold tickets in it." I'm like, dude.
Oh my gosh, you remember that selling
stupid gold tickets? Yeah, I swear, man. What a game mode that was fun until it wasn't, right?
I know, just overstayed its welcome, just like this episode of the podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Snapchat.